This is the hardest decision of my day, to pick which beanie. And also, I don't know where my gray beanie is right now. Guys, we did make it to Miami Iron. Let's get this leg training done. Let's do it. The magic headphones post. Thought that was pretty dope. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me. It is Thursday. I just had my second push day of the week, and you guys are watching. I'm gonna show you an entire leg workout. Literally every set, not much else, not much of the wait time or anything. And I'm just letting you know it's gonna be, well, almost 20 minutes. You guys can see by the title. So what is the point of this video? We're not talking about leg training. We're not talking about much. What I'm gonna try to do is just give you guys a little bit of a history lesson, or just some information about me and how I got started into legitimately wanting to bodybuild and bodybuilding and everything. So I'm probably relate to a lot of you guys out there. So if you relate to anything, comment below, tell me your experiences. I don't expect the people who watch more of my viral-ish videos, not that there's too many, but or my eating videos, to sit through this. But those of you guys who've been commenting, I mean, at least every week for 3 years now that I've had my channel, maybe you guys will appreciate this. And I don't know, I don't like to talk about myself, and I want to get away from that on my channel. But now I guess it's just you and me, or me and you guys, that are interested in this. So I'd like to get my channel more towards a I don't want to call it reporting, but guys, I'm such a big fan of bodybuilding. Like, I don't choose to be, it chooses to make me a fan. I don't know, it's weird, but I just love bodybuilding and the competition, and I'm really interested in it. So my favorite YouTubers are like Louis Marco and Nick Strength and Power, RX Muscle, and believe it or not, Jason Blaha for training advice, practical training advice. I get tons of hate for people hating on him, but everything he says is pretty much right. And it's not him saying it, it's coming from the mouths of scientists. So he's kind of just repeating what is most generally accepted, and to knock someone for that really makes no sense. So anyways, guys, 3 sets of steps, hams, and glutes, and then we went into the squat workout. So I'll probably calculate the total sets after, but how the hell did I get into bodybuilding? So the first time I realized how skinny I was and how physically inadequate I was freshman year. And I want to know, I graduated high school in 07, I'm class of 07, so my freshman year was, I guess, 03, 04. So anyways, maybe 04. Freshman year strength test in PE. Have some of this caffeine. I can't show you guys. So freshman year strength test, guys. I walk into the gym freshman year, super pumped, because all my buddies who played football and baseball, who were kind of jacked, I was like, dude, it's my turn. Like, maybe I can get into this building muscle thing. So we all go to the flat bench. Kids are putting up 80 pounds, 85 pounds. Some freaks are doing 135, and I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy, like a plate. They've got biceps and shit, and I'm like, man, I fucking suck. I was a year young for my class, and I was a late bloomer, which is nothing wrong with that, but you put a late bloomer a year ahead, and it's just, you're physically disadvantaged. It's an interesting way to grow up, always being the skinnier, smaller, less athletic person. Most of that could have been corrected by actually training and taking myself seriously, but I was always a little bit behind, especially because that 1 year made a big difference, the 1 year of age. So walk into the freshman year strength test on the bench press. I do the bar, and I was like, okay, I was shaky and wobbly because I had no motor skills with the bench press, but I do the bar. And I'm like, all right, let's put 10s on, because I saw people getting 85. I was calculating it on my head. I was like, all right, let's put 10s on. Unrack it, okay, I come down, and it just falls into my chest. And I go to press it, and like I'm all loosey-goosey as shit, and they have to rack it for me. So I couldn't even bench 65 pounds. I was about 110 pounds probably. I graduated high school at 155. I started senior year at 133. And I was always pretty close to 5'10", maybe 5'8", 5'9" in high school. But yeah, man, just really, really skinny. Honestly, it's something that really affected me, that I was angry about in my late teens and early 20s, because I was so small for my expectations from seeing bodybuilders. You know, I hated how I looked. I was basically an anorexic kid not by choice. I didn't have an eating disorder. I just never really ate out food. I never ate junk food. I came from an Hispanic family, so I was just eating chicken and rice and stuff. And as a little kid, your appetite's just shit. So unless you're eating those hyper palatable foods, you're not going to get a lot of calories. So long story short, I was just a really thin kid. I was a golfer, so I just go walk the course all day, every day. And you're not trying to eat a big meal and continue to walk and play golf, because you got to swing. You're like throwing your entire body back and forth, so eating doesn't really happen. So what the hell did I do after I failed that press? Well, 10th grade came along, I kept playing golf. 11th grade came along, I got pretty damn good at golf. 11th grade going into my senior year, during the summer, I'd been hanging out at my country club a lot. That's where I played golf, at our little country club that we had growing up. And I was always noticing a couple jack dudes that were always there in the gym or whatever. And I went to the gym one day because I just wanted to see what it was about, and there was a bodybuilder there, man. The guy looked like a Jose Raymond or like a 212 guy. And to me, I'm just looking at him like a freak, you know, and I'm looking down at him, but like admiring the strength and muscle. I'm just like, why not me? You know, why am I not muscular? Like, why can't I be a man? Why can't I be adequate? You know, I was angry, I was pissed, I wanted to be big, I wanted to play football, I wanted to be 180, like all those other guys, right? But I just didn't know how. My parents didn't know how to feed me, they didn't understand training, they didn't understand sports, so it was like just going into a world as like a Hispanic, Peruvian child and having no fucking idea what's going on. So it was a funny childhood, but I've learned a lot since then, obviously. So junior year going into senior, I go up to Cole in my country club gym, and I'm like, yo man, or not Cole, I go up to Anthony, the actual bodybuilder, IFB, or NPC bodybuilder, whatever. I'm like, hey man, I'd like to purchase some sessions and I want to know your price because I'm tired of being skinny and I want to be big as possible. And I'm going to tell you the most important thing he ever taught me was negative pull-ups. Pull a bench under the bar, jump up, and then hold yourself down. Jump, and then hold yourself down. Almost like you're benching and someone lifts it for you and you do the negative. It's the same thing. You're jumping yourself up and then doing the negative like you're hanging on a monkey bar. And man, the first muscle I could ever flex was my lat. I remember walking up to my sister and being like, yo, put your hand here. And I would pop my lat like that and she'd feel it like bouncing a pec. But I could do it with my lat first. So when people say or comment on my back being wide or big, it was the first muscle that ever responded. It was the first muscle I could ever flex. It was the movement I got the strongest with. I could do pull-ups pretty soon, but I couldn't really bench 135 or 185 for years. So anyways. So long story short, I bought some sessions with Anthony, cried to my parents, begged to my parents because I didn't have any cash. And I think I got 10 sessions for 250 bucks. So nowadays, that's really cheap. $25 for half an hour from a private trainer. Granted, I think that's fair. But anyways, shit gets crazy these days with pricing. So anyways, so I walk in, I specifically remember us doing negatives on the bench press with some weight. Because when you're a beginner, guys, negatives aren't gonna kill you. But if you've been benching for 10 years and your max is 400, if you're like, hey bro, let's do negatives with 430, come on, you guys know what I mean. When you're just a beginner and you can't do a push-up, it doesn't mean that when you go to do a push-up, you're gonna die. But if you're a powerlifter and you do 405 and you go for 450, you literally could die trying it. So anyways, negatives on the bench, negatives on the pull-ups, leg press, hack squats, we were doing it all, and those 10 sessions flew by. And then when senior year started, my buddy Jean-Louis, he was lifting too, good genetics, good arm genetics. He was getting kind of impressive 150. I was 133. And we signed up at Lifestyle Family Fitness Center in Lake Mary, Florida, right outside of Orlando, right by Heathrow. If any of that sounds familiar to you guys, I know it's hitting you in the feels. But yeah, that was my first gym, Lifestyle Family Fitness. It was pretty much like a 24-hour fitness, but instead of like blue and gray, it was red and gray. So it was actually really dope. Like think of the sweetest LA Fitness or 24-hour with like everything, good squat racks, round metal plates, like, you know, everything's on point. It was like that. So a couple bodybuilders there, a couple freaks there, but just, you know, middle-aged women and men, just pretty decent shape like any other gym. So yeah, we signed up senior year, and I did get more training sessions from a different kid, just like under the table at my country club. His name was Cole. He went to Lake Mary High, and he just put me through like 10 workouts. I gave him like 200 bucks. And yeah, he took the cash, he helped me work out, and then after that I was only going to Family Fitness with my boy John. And I remember the first pre-workout him and I had was N30, like by the makers of NO2 and CE2. I forget the brand. Remember that NO2 bottle, the arginine, like pump enhancer was like $100 for like a month and a half supply or something. Yeah, they made N30, so we were getting hopped up on pre-workout even in 2007, believe it or not. And yeah, I remember just starting with the basics, learning the bench press, and I don't know how I knew to learn the deadlift, but I was deadlifting my first like year lifting in a gym, and that was my best lift. Like I got to 3 plates in Lake Mary, I think, or I got to 275 in Lake Mary, and I was pulling it, and I would see guys way bigger than me like pull 275, like it's challenging, and I'm like, what the like, why am I so good at deadlifting? Turns out I'm not that good at deadlifting. I barely ever got to 450, but yeah, I was crushing the deadlift. Squat was okay because I would squat, you know, 175, 185 by the end of the year, ass to grass for a few reps, and everyone else is quarter squatting 185, and I'm like, you know, I'm way better than them. I'm gonna be better than them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have a passion for this. They don't want the best for themselves, and I'm gonna show them what it takes and how to do it right. And long story short, you guys keep seeing me preaching the same damn thing. Compound movements, good form. If you get injured, because accidents happen, avoid that movement and continue lifting within your limitations. And that's what I've done for 10 years straight, and so far so good. So I feel blessed. But man, that first year in the gym, some things happened. So my first injury scare, I was wearing a weight belt on the leg press in that Lifestyle Family Fitness during my senior year, and I started to get a pinch in my inner thigh. I'm sure many of you guys have had it. Right here where your leg meets your thigh, almost like, it's a little bit, you know, right outside your groin area, and almost where like a lymph node might be, or some sort of like, I don't know. But I started to get a sharp pain there, and I thought maybe it might be a hernia, whatever. And that was my first injury scare. As I was leg pressing hard, deadlifting, and when I would come up on the deadlift with the belt, I'd feel pain there, and I was like, fuck, dude, like I'm really screwed if I can't even get through a first year of lifting. But after having a few months back and forth, feeling that pain, I learned how to manage it. And I learned that what I was doing was going too heavy and going too intense in just one session. So I learned from that I was doing too much volume, too much intensity, and my form was too poor. And what I needed to do was take that workload, bring it down a bit, and train slightly more frequently, like instead of once a week, like a bro split, which everyone did back then, maybe every 5 days. So I did learn a little bit from that first injury, and then the second injury, and that's something that plagued me for about 3 or 4 years. It was on and off, because I was building strength linearly for 3 years or so on the squat and deadlift, not on the bench. But on the squat and the deadlift, I kept going up, and as I got healthier, you know, I'd go stronger, and then I'd start to get that little, you know, stress in my inner thigh. But that was just part of growing, and I was growing pretty, you know, I'd say average for legs and back was definitely average. I was, you know, good on legs and back, but chest, shoulders, and arms were super below average, So deadlift was interesting. I did have a little bit of an injury scare. Squats were fine. And yeah, well, I'll get to the bench press in a second, but my second injury was right here. If you guys have ever had shin splints, what happens is the shock and the muscle tension starts to create inflammation where the muscle and connective tissue of that muscle, the tendon, insert on the shin bone, the anterior tibialis, and all those muscle groups, or muscles, in the lower leg. So for your forearm, I did research, obviously, and I researched that it's kind of the same thing. When you're doing your barbell curls, your presses, you start to feel like a throbbing pain specifically here. Like if someone was grabbing you hard and they released you, you get like a deep ache that kind of, it's like a stress ache. And I realized that when your forearms grow, when your arms are growing, when you're subjecting your bones to, I guess, intense training, you're going to get, first of all, bone aches, but that muscle tissue is going to start to grow. It's going to start to get damaged, and if you push it too hard, you're going to get lots of pain from that. And it's almost like wrist or shin splints, but for your forearm instead of your tibialis muscles and your tibia muscles. So, or your tibia and fibula muscles. But anyways, now we're deep in this workout. I did a few sets of light dumbbells because if I go too heavy on the sumos, my back feels weird. And then I murdered 275 before this. I almost wanted to watch it with you guys, but it was a brutal, brutal freaking set. So Anyways, that covers my first 2 injuries, the first 2 compound movements I was getting good at, and the bench press. So whatever happened with the bench press? So I walk into Family Fitness, I'm putting 10s on, you know, 65 pounds. I'm putting 2 10s on. I'm putting a quarter on, getting 6, 7, 8 reps, feeling pumped. And then the rest of my senior year, I was never able to get past 135 or 145. I get to FSU for the summer session right after I graduate. I'm 17 years old, living by myself at Florida State University. Crazy, crazy idea. But man, that was its own challenge in itself. But I never stopped lifting. I kept my training schedule. I just also drank a lot of alcohol the longer I stayed there. When I got there, I didn't drink for like a year, and then I went a little crazy. But yeah, man, that first year I was getting into the gym, you know, in my fucking wife beater, like trying to, like, you know, bodybuild. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't care if I looked stupid. I didn't care what people thought. I wanted it. I wanted to get big. I wanted to look like Arnold. That's what I wanted. I let everyone know it, you know. And I'm in there benching, you know, 155, 165 for triples, and then my boy comes, lays down, and does 10 reps at 185. And the kid I was training with, Jean-Louis, he went there too, and I'm like, bro, like, you started with 135 lifting with me, and now you're at 185. And I hit 135 when we left town, and I'm not making any progress. And no lie, it took me until I was 20 years old to put up 205. And it took me until I was 21 to put up 225. So don't feel bad about your genetics, guys. Don't let other people scare you or make you fearful. Free booty shots. Free booty shots. Don't let other people scare you from going to the gym. One of the saddest things that I hear from my clients is that they're like intimidated or scared to go to the gym. And I feel bad personally because I'm always in there, you know, half dressed, flexing and stuff. But it's not a competition with people in the gym. For me, what the competition is how can I care more, invest more, and work harder in here than what I've done before and than anyone else. Yeah, I'll compete with people on that. I don't give a shit. If people are there dicking around doing bicep curls, you got, you know, guys my age with small arms curling 40 pounds, and I'm benching 250 next to them, and they're like a potato and a bull potato just sitting there like doing their bad form curls while I'm, you know, blowing 235 out for triples, and they don't realize like the difference. It's not even something they comprehend. And anyways, so that's why I stuck with it, guys, because I would see people in there not wanting what I wanted, and I would see people in the gym not caring about what I cared about. It wasn't about I gotta look better than that guy. It was about I will work harder, longer, suffer more, and do whatever it takes to look bigger than him. Not because that's the goal, but because I want to outperform him. And if I have to be bigger than him to show people that I'm doing it, then I will. And that was my mindset. And obviously you guys know, to have that mindset naturally, if you don't have, I'd say, slightly above average genetics, you're always going to be dissatisfied. And that's what upsets me the most about these fake naturals on YouTube, about people lying about their doses and stuff. You guys already know that testosterone is part of my supplementation. You guys should know that. I've never kept it a secret. Yeah, I'll keep, you know, the icing on the cake and bread and butter, or the icing on the cake and, you know, fancy stuff, I guess you can call it, special vitamins. I'll keep that to myself because that's not important for anyone who's not working with a coach and competing or prepping themselves. It's irrelevant. But yeah, guys, I don't bullshit. And what's sad is that people will get my mindset somehow, right? They'll feel that inspiration and they'll want to dedicate themselves to something. They'll want to value something that they can get results with, and they'll go on, you know, YouTube. They'll see Mike Rashid. They'll see Mike O'Hearn. They'll see Strength Cartel. They'll see, rest in peace, Rich Piana. And right away, they're starting off so far behind, and the only option for them is steroids. That's the only option. If you're going to go on Instagram to have a little bit of inspiration, and you're going to see Sergi Constance, Regan Grimes, you're going to see Chris Bumstead, Breon, Arash, you're kind of just, you're just oversaturated with these massive muscular dudes. And then as you start making progress, like myself, people are going to tell you, dude, you look like shit. And it's like, Don't let people lie to you, deceive you, and tell you that you can't do anything. If you want to commit yourself to bodybuilding, do it. Do it, that's fine. But don't copy what Rich Piana did. Don't copy what the other guys do. Learn form, learn frequency, learn commitment, learn dedication, learn diet, learn trial and error. Trial and fucking error. Try something, and if it doesn't work, then stop it. Anyways, guys, that's a little bit of a rant. If any of you sat through that, you'd probably be one of my best friends in person, so I appreciate you guys a lot. And that's part one. Sucking at the bench, kind of being pretty good at the squat and dead, getting to FSU, and trying to stop being a skinny motherfucker. But yeah, that was like, I just brought you guys from like 109 pounds to 155. So we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, freshman year was fun. Almost got to 205. No, I think it was like sophomore or junior year when I got to 205, but we'll talk about that. And that's when I started taking creatine, big red creatine, and definitely tried some pro hormone supplementation. So started young, guys. And if you guys didn't know that, well, maybe now you will. So peace. Take it off and put it back on. No one's here. My pee-pee went away anyways. Straight up. You just direct me if I'm doing something that doesn't look good.
Good.